Oh my, it took way longer than usual. This video should have been out like a month ago when I first teased it. But I'm finally here with it. I'm excited for this video. So, naturally, I was running around here in the commercial district here in NLA one day, and I noticed all of these very unique shops. There's all these different shops with all different kinds of names, and I went through and looked at all of them, and I wondered if they had any connection to real life, to the real world, since we know NLA is based off of Los Angeles, and it's based in the real world. It's got the United States with the flag on the white whale and everything. So I kind of wanted to just go through all the shops and see if they had any connections with the real world. So I mean, here, let's just make a video about it. Now, a lot of these aren't going to have anything, and they're just going to be, you know, original and exclusive to Xenoblade X and not mean anything. But a lot of these actually have some real world connections that I think are pretty interesting. So to start, we have Eyes Loft. And I didn't really find anything for this. Closest I had to lofts was Easy Loft, which is obviously just furniture. But for Eyes, all I really found was just a bunch of audio equipment, like Eyes audio parts. I'm pretty sure that's the line, like the series of parts and items, but I haven't found anything else. I don't think that's the brand, and that's just the line of items for like phonographs and attenuators and other, just a bunch of audio stuff. And then here for Lanix Space, I mean, that's not really a store, but I thought it was interesting and wanted to look it up, and all I really found, it just kept redirecting me to Larynx, which is basically the voice box. But the only thing I found online with the name Lanix was a tax-free fund based in New York. So I mean, there's that, I guess. I highly doubt this was based off of a fund, so that's kind of interesting. Already 2 for 2 with not really any actual relevant connection. But now we're gonna start at the top half of the commercial district and basically work our way around. So we're gonna go through the top, go through the middle, and then through the bottom. I wish there was a way to show the second screen, or if there's a picture that I find, I'll put it up here. If y'all played Xenoblade X, y'all know we're gonna go up above Barista Court, down West Melville Street, Central Melville Street, then East Melville Street, and then we'll end off on North Founders Street. So if I find an image, I'll put it up here, but if y'all have Xenoblade X, y'all can take a look at that and see. To see the street names, just press the green button, I guess, in the top right corner on the gamepad, and it'll take you to the street names. So let's go on over there now. Right here, I'm gonna have my mini map on just in case that helps. I know the Xenoblade X mini map is very non-easy to read, so if this helps any of y'all, then I guess there you go. But next, before we actually go down to the north of Barista Court, which is that way, I'm gonna cover all of these shops here. So first here we have Cosmic Burger. For Cosmic Burger, I actually found a wide array of stuff. Alright, first thing that came up when I searched Cosmic Burger was a fucking NFT project. So you already know we're starting off terrible. The first thing that came up was an NFT project, okay? And then after that, it could be a reference to the JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope from NASA, as there's bits of like, there's like a whole burger inside joke or whatever going on in there. Not really interested in looking into that, but I doubt that is what that's talking about, since that happened this year, a couple months ago, or weeks ago actually. So that's like last week, so that's not even relevant. And then there was another one, a LinkedIn page for Cosmic Burger is a non-profit organization that supports creative thinking, helping artists and innovators to get their projects off the ground. And then probably the most interesting, there is an Instagram page
for Cosmic Burger, which is allegedly a burger joint in Beirut, which is the capital of Lebanon. So I think that's pretty cool. I doubt that's what it was based off of, because the logos aren't really the same. I mean, they're kind of similar. You can kind of see it with the burger between the buns, but the Cosmic isn't in Xenoblade X. But that's, I guess, the closest to a real world connection we'll get is Cosmic Burger LB. So yeah, that's based out of Beirut in Lebanon, which I think is pretty cool. I've never heard of Cosmic Burger till now, but that was actually pretty dope. So the next one over here is Gebel Cafe. So for this one, there's also not really too many like real world equivalents. I did find a Gebel Cafe, but it's spelled differently. The L and the E are swapped around, and that is a restaurant in Mexico City. But I found more results for a Glebe Cafe, which is based in Buckinghamshire, which is a country in southeast England, which is just a local coffee shop. So I guess that checks out for like cafe and bar. The coffee shop and cafe part check out, but other than that, I didn't find anything based on GEBLE, anything for Gebel, like a cafe or anything else. But next we have Dolly Import Inc. importers and wholesalers. And ironically enough, we actually have something very similar here. Dolly Import Inc., it's not exactly the same, but in real life we have a Dolly Import and Export Limited, which is basically just an importing and exporting business set out in Ecuador. So it's relatively similar. It's very similar actually, because this is an importer and wholesaler, so they import stuff and sell it, while in the real world Dolly Import and Export is, as it says, they just import and export stuff, not really a wholesaler, but it's actually very, very close. Next we have 4-Star and Rose Inc. Now there isn't anything for this except for Rose Inc. is an actual real life company, and all it is just a beauty supplier. It's literally just a beauty company. There's really nothing more to it. Now we get on to the north of Brista Court. I still don't know the name of this street. It doesn't have a name on the actual map on the gamepad. There's no name for this street, so I'm not really sure what to call it. But the next store we have here is Laban's Tailor Shop. Now this one is actually pretty meta and on character for Takahashi. All right, we all know Takahashi loves to put references, a lot of biblical references in this game, or in just the series in general, all of Xeno, and this is one of them. Now the tailor shop doesn't really have any meaning, but Laban, this one is actually pretty cool. So Laban, also known as Laban the Aramean, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is a figure in the book of Genesis of the Hebrew Bible. He was the brother of Rebekah, the woman who married Isaac and bore Jacob. So I don't know if this is specifically a biblical reference to Laban from the Hebrew Bible, but I wouldn't put it past Takahashi to do that, since he loves referencing, you know, Bibles and just religion in general in Xeno. So, and I guess Xenoblade X is the least religious game in Xeno, I think. So to see a religious reference in here is kind of cool and not very surprising, because that's just Takahashi. He loves putting references to religion in his games. Next we have, this is all still Laban, and this time it's a clothing shop here and here. So it's a tailor shop and now a clothing shop. So I mean, Laban's balling, all right? He's got two shops right next to each other, all right? So Laban, he's balling out here. But after that, we have Barista Court. I'm going to cover these real quick before going down the rest of going down the rest of that street. Next we have Baked Bennett Goods, which is a cafe, bakery, and restaurant. This one is kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different things. So there are a bunch of restaurants and bakeries, cafes, and all that with the name Bennett and Baked in them. Different order, or will have Bennett but not baked or goods. So I guess this is just an overall general, like, generic cafe, bakery, and restaurant, since there are many real world examples of cafes, bakeries, and restaurants with the name Bennett in it. So this one isn't really referring to anything in particular. But next we have Moore's Cafe. Just like the Baked Bennett Goods, this one's just an overall very generic shop, breakfast and lunch. Just a very generic cafe. There's again many real world examples of different bars, grills, cafes with the name Moore in it. So these are very popular, or just very common names just put before goods or cafe. So like a lot of these cafes and goods places, I guess, are just going to be very just generic and not really relating to anything in particular. And speaking of that, this is probably the most basic you can get. It's just bakery and cafe. That's it. It's just bakery and cafe. There's nothing special about it. That's literally all it is. And next we have Blue Pocket. And other than finding, just blue pockets, like literally just blue pouches, there's actually a company in Singapore called The Blue Pocket. It's a Singapore-based events and marketing agency experienced in crafting unique event experiences and retail campaigns across Southeast Asia, online and in person. So although this is probably just a general, normal, basic store, it actually has a real-world counterpart that's probably unrelated. I think it's safe to say that this does this even look like an events and marketing agency? No, this is probably just some kind of basic retail store, just a very generic retail store. This one is actually pretty cool and has multiple different meanings. So gelateria right there at the top, it literally just means gelato in Italian, and then Duconi also just means two cones in Italian, which we can see there's two cones right there. And there's actually, a gelato shop called Duconi. So, I mean, it all just comes together. It all just wraps up pretty nicely. It's really as simple as that. It's just a gelato store with two cones.
Yep, get this.
Co-op NLA. And now over here, just finishing, or like coming back down this main street back here, we have Co-op NLA. This is one of the first just Xenoblade X exclusive, no real world ties shop. It literally says NLA right there, and this is the main supermarket of NLA. It's only here in this one spot at the very back of the commercial district. Not sure why it's here and not, in the middle or closer to the residential area where everyone lives. They just hide it back here where no one can really find it. But whatever. I'm not an architect, so I shouldn't be judging architecture and how it's placed. But yeah, this is your just basic supermarket, just local city supermarket, exclusive to NLA. And then further down just a little bit more, we have Lincoln Baker Coffee. And as you'd expect, there's nothing really interesting about this. Lincoln Baker, there's plenty of people in real life named Lincoln Baker, and when I was researching for this, all I really found was just a bunch of LinkedIn and Instagram pages of people named Lincoln Baker. There's really no real world place called Lincoln Baker Coffee, which is to be expected. Now further down here we get to the pretty interesting ones. First we have Hex Marines. So of course, as you'd expect, there's nothing really for Hex Marines. It has a very basic logo, and it looks like just a like wholesale store, or maybe even a bookstore, or like a rental, like DVD rental place. I don't really know. I can't really tell what that is, but it has nothing to do with Marines, and it has no real world connection, as you'd expect. But after that, also look at this lighting. It's fucking beautiful. Oh, this lighting is gorgeous. But next we have Liago Cup, which I didn't really find anything for Liago Cup. I did, however, find something close enough called a Lago Cup or a Lago Mug. And a Lago Mug is just a certain type of ceramic mug. There's nothing really more to it. So I guess the theming is congruent. Next, we have Daily Necessities General Store. That's it. It's just a general store, no connection to anything. Daily Necessities General Store. How much more generic can you get than that? And this is one of my favorites right here. This shop right here, Milius 321 Stationery. This, I mean, it has a real world counterpart, I guess, but not really for a store. This is most likely named after Georges Méliès, who is a French illusionist, actor, and film director, and he's pretty legendary in the world of cinema. He's often credited to being the father of modern cinema. He was a huge deal. He was one of the first to film fictional narratives, and he's got plenty of accolades and different things to his name. He was an early French experimenter with motion picture, the first to film fictional narratives. So he kind of paved the way for modern cinema that we have today. So a pretty legendary guy. This one was actually one of the most fun to look into, because I think that's actually pretty dope. Now this next one is not so great or all that fun. Liz Santa Gallery. Not sure why gallery is in all caps while Liz Santa isn't, but this one, again, just like most of them, don't really have any connection. It's just a name of somebody with gallery next to it. So if you look up Liz Santa, there's a lot of different Liz Santas, and one of the most notable ones is just like a clothing designer, I guess. She like sells her own clothes, so that's really all there is to that one. Next here we have grocery. It's grocery outlets. It's literally just a grocery store. There's nothing else to it. It's just a grocery store. This next one, Icaros, actually has a bit of history. Now, this one is actually really cool, and it kind of hits close for me since I love what this is related to. So Icaros is a spacecraft, right? It is a Japanese aerospace exploration agency experimental spacecraft. Yes, I know a lot of words. And what Icaros stands for is interplanetary kite craft accelerated by radiation of the sun. So this was basically like an entire space mission aiming at verifying that spacecraft can fly only by solar powered sail. So using the power of the solar winds to basically propel it through space. I think it's actually really cool. I'm a huge nerd for astronomy and space and everything related to that. So no shit, I like Xenosaga and Xenoblade X since they have a lot of big space themes to them, and this is kind of just like a direct reference to that, and it just makes even more sense because it's based in Japan, where obviously Takahashi and Monolith and all of them are from. So this is actually probably one of my favorite references, if it is one at all. And then after that, right next to that, we have Army Pizza, if I could show it. Army Pizza, I am struggling to get on this. Whatever. Army Pizza right here. Alright, y'all see it. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's just a generic Xenoblade X pizza joint. And now, finally, we get on to Melville Street, kind of. Well, this is West Melville Street, but I'm not really sure what this central, like center street right here is called. It's just Central Melville Street, I think, unless that's that street down there. This one doesn't really have a name either, but regardless, there's another Army's Pizza, which it just wraps around the building right here, so nothing to look into that. We have another Blue Pocket here, and then we have a Zalia Cafe. Zalia Cafe, there's something similar called Zalia Radona Cafe, and I mean, it's basically just a cafe. And at least for Zalia Radonia, the real world counterpart, it is based in Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania. So it's pretty cool how a lot of these shops, intentionally or not, are referencing a bunch of different I guess establishments from all around the world, and it's not all just US based, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, I like all of the different kind of representation, as we can see the different, I guess, cultures through Xenoblade X's shops, which makes sense since they're all kind of, you know, like alien races in here, all different kinds of cultures in NLA. All of these shops are referencing real life cultures, which I think is pretty cool. And here at Blue Pocket, it seems like there's a Blue Pocket cafe and just the regular Blue Pocket store down there. So I don't know if these are the same branch. And then the banner right here for Blue Pocket and Zalia look exactly the same, even with the 1 star on the right. So I don't know if these are connected, but maybe it's like a collab. I don't really know what's going on with the whole Blue Pocket thing. But after that, we already took care of Barista Court. Next here we have Baked Bennett Goods again. So just like on the backside, there's nothing really going on with that. Moore's Cafe, another one, another Bennett's Baked Good or Baked Bennett's Good. And here we have Star Cafe Fresh Roasted Coffee. And for the whateverth time now, Star Cafe, another just very generic, basic cafe. There's plenty of different real life cafes with the word star, and it's like Starlight Cafe, All-Star Cafe, Rockstar Cafe, just a bunch of different whatever star cafe. So this one is pretty generic, and that covers it for. Actually, no, we got one more right here, which I wasn't really able to read. It says like something Plaza, New Los Angeles, but it's saying New Los Angeles right there. It most likely has nothing to do with anything, and that's just an NLA thing. So that covers the entirety of like the northern half of NLA, of the commercial district, and now we just have all of these stores right here, and then we wrap around all the way to make a full circle. So we already got basically halfway through NLA. Next is way over here at, was it Smile Pizza? What does that say? Smile Pizza Kitchen. Again, nothing really for this. It's just a generic pizza place. Here, Italian Ristorante Nero. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. So this one is another like Italian reference. Italian Ristorante. A ristorante is basically just the Italian version of a restaurant. So it says Italian restaurant right there. It's a cafe and pizza. But Nero is pretty interesting. I found only like 2 notable things which are very similar. The first one, well, both of them were movies. The first one called The Hero, which I'm sure Lero is just hero in Italian, or East Ero is. And that's just a thriller drama that came out in 2019. And then another movie which came out the year before with just the name Lero is a movie about a mediocre journalist named Giorgio. His life changes abruptly when the director of the newspaper decides to transfer him to a provincial office. So I mean, neither of these really have to do with restaurants or cafes or pizzerias, but that's really all I could find. And then here is just a basic liquor store right next to it for beer and whiskey. And then right next to that we have Ritz and Siegfried, which is a bar and grill. This one, again, not really any connection. It's most likely just two people with last name Ritz and Siegfried decided to start up a bar and grill. And the logo looks very similar to these ones over here, at least the liquor store, so I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. But cool little details, they're having a final sale from 20 to 50% off, and you can buy tomato soup for 3 currency. So I don't know if that's expensive or cheap in terms of Xenoblade X and like NLA currency and rates and whatever, but that's a pretty nice little detail. I don't know what happened with the camera there. But then right here we have Isequa, I think that's how you pronounce it, Isequa. And for this one, I am completely lost. This is such a weird word that doesn't really even sound familiar for any language. I tried to look up translations, the word itself and other stuff, and nothing came up. Nothing even close came to this. Isequa, I'm pretty sure that's just a brand here in NLA, because I found absolutely nothing for it. I got some wonky translation into Russian, which I don't even think is accurate, but that's about as close as I could get for this one. Continuing on, we have relojero. Okay, so this one is relojero, and it's actually Spanish for watchmaker. It translates from Spanish into English as watchmaker. So this is most likely just a jewelry store or somewhere you go in to get repairs on your watch. Relojero is literally just watchmaker in Spanish. So nothing too insane there. I guess we'll okay. I'll cover like the first half of this, and then I'll come back and cover that when we come around to that. Okay, well, never mind. It's just relojero again. But going on from that, we have Ginevra. Or yeah, Ginevra. So this one was kind of hard to find anything on. Ginevra this is most likely just a beauty store or a clothing store. This is probably just named after somebody, because of everything I found. Ginevra is a feminine name of Italian and Welsh origins. Ginevra comes from the original spelling of whatever this says and translates to fair one. So this is most likely just a beauty or some kind of feminine store. But continuing on from that, we have Ewan Lewis, which without even looking this up, I can already kind of tell that this is probably just some Xenoblade X thing. And then when looking it up, I mean, I was kind of right. It's just, again, just somebody's name. They just decided to name their company. No really real connection with anything, just somebody's name. And again, like in real life, there's just a ton of people with that name. So, and then in between that, we have a Sunshine Cafe, which I think is owned by Ewan Lewis, whoever that is. So this is just Sunshine Cafe owned by whoever that guy is. So nothing really interesting with that. And then here for Mall Cruz, this one also is just somebody's name. It doesn't really have a real life counterpart in anything. It's just Mall Cruz. It's literally just a mall. So that's that. And then here we have Rose Moss, which actually kind of has an interesting origin. This one I like a lot. And even right there, that flower in between the rose and moss is actually what the name is named after. This restaurant is named Rose Moss, and it's based off of the moss rose purslane, which is a flower native to southern Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. So I think that's pretty cool. They just grabbed the name of a pretty flower. It's beautiful too. This flower is actually gorgeous. I love the color, that pink, that like popping bright pink. I love it. They just took the name, swapped it, and made a restaurant out of it. And then they actually made the flower its logo. It's not exactly the same flower, but it's pretty close enough. So I like that a lot. Rose moss is based off of the moss rose flower, which I think is a nice touch. And continuing on from rose moss, I mean, we see they have a drive-through, and it even says New Los Angeles up there, Restaurant Rose Moss. So even just the NLA stuff, just the Xenoblade X stuff, even has some real world connections, I guess. But after that, we have Sally Baxter Cafe, and just like the rest, it's just somebody's name with cafe slapped on the end of it. And now we're getting close to the last stretch. This is the final stretch of stuff here on North Founders Street. Funny how it's called North Founders Street when it's in the south of the commercial district. But a lot of these are not really much of anything. But this one here, this one got me a little bit. Now, I mean, I'm not really too sure what this one is supposed to be about. I'm kind of conflicted on Rainbow Star Toys because, I mean, yeah, they could just be selling Rainbow Star Toys, or the company name is Rainbow Star and they sell toys, but I'm more inclined to believe that this is probably a sex shop selling sex toys. Now, I know that's a bit of a reach, but I mean, come on, just the way the logo, it's just very discreet, I guess, just very blank, the black background, the rainbow star, and then toys at the end. It's similar to a shop down there, which isn't one, but I just kind of had to throw that out there. It's probably most likely not, but maybe Takahashi or someone on the team wanted to throw this in as some kind of crude joke or something. I don't know. Am I wrong for thinking that? Even if it's not the case, I just kind of had to throw it out there. That's what came to mind for me. But next to that, we have Ultramarine Gifts Co. So, I mean, if this is like a gift shop, I doubt they'd put a sex shop immediately right next to it. So, I mean, look, even they knew it was a bad idea, so they're starting to try to put it up for sale. But Ultramarine Gifts here, it's not really anything interesting. It's just a gift shop, as it says. And I like the consistency with the banner too. The banner, the color of the banner is ultramarine. So, I mean, if they're gonna have the name of the store Ultramarine, they might as well keep it consistent with the actual color being what the name is. Now, next to that, we have Ruby Flower Co., importer and wholesaler. And just like the Dolly import, this is literally just an importer and wholesaler company, I guess. There's not really any connection to the real world. It's literally just a ruby flower. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. That's all there is to it. And this is the shop. This is what I was talking about the rainbow star toys being similar. The red hamster toys, I know it says it's an importer and wholesaler, but I mean, they could be importing and selling, you know, some kind of 18 plus toys, if you know what I'm saying. All right, maybe I just have a very far gone mind. Maybe I'm just too far gone and my mind is too dirty, but I mean, I can't be the only one, bro. Rainbow star toys, red hamster toys. I mean, it kind of sounds similar to a certain site I'm not going to name, but I mean, you can't really blame me for thinking that, even if it's not. Okay, I can't be the only one who's thought of that. Someone has had to have thought of that before. It can't just be me. And then next to that, we have Green Crown Trading. I mean, it is what it says. Green Crown, even though that's gold, but with the green gem, whatever, I'm nitpicking. Trading, I mean, maybe it's like a stock. Not that, what, like stock market doesn't have stores. There wouldn't be a store for stock trading. That, or it's just like a barter store, like a pawn shop. But yeah, these all of these stores don't really have any real world connection. I guess that's why they're way over here. And like even all the banners look very basic. It's just the name of the store over just a very basic background with a lot of the colors matching the name. We have ultramarine with the background being ultramarine, a ruby flower, you know, red hamster, there's the red, rainbow star with the rainbow star, and then green crown with a green crown. So all of these seem to just be like off-brand indie stores, I guess, like none of the mainstream name brands up there with all the rest of them in like central commercial districts. So these are all like independently owned. And then we have Galactic Parking, which again, this is literally just a parking company. Let's see what this says. After 10 p.m. all vehicles will be locked in until next business day. And then Monday through Friday they're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Goddamn. Saturday and Sunday from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I mean, I guess those are reasonable hours, right? I mean, they close kind of early on Monday. Open at 8 but close at 6. Monday through Friday, they're open longer on Saturday and Sunday, which most places are not. They usually close early on Sundays, but they stay open longer, whatever. And then 300 credits to park each 15 minutes, 5,000 credit maximum. So what's that? What's 15 times 5? I'm not doing math right now, but that's like at least an hour or something. I'm gonna look so stupid right now, but that's pretty decent, I guess. I don't know, paying $300 for 15 minutes. I'm not sure of the economy at NLA, but that seems like a reasonable price. I mean, considering you can get tomato soup for $3, maybe this is a bit much. Holy shit, I don't know. But yeah, that's Galactic Parking. The logo looks cool, I guess. The logo's kind of dope. It kind of gives me a galactic feel with the blue too, kind of like the Xenosaga blue, or like the Cosmos blue. That's pretty cool. And then again, we got another Dolly Imports. We got another red hamster, although this one is on a white background while this one's on a red background. I'm not really too sure what's up with that or why they're like swapped. And then we got another ruby flower. And then across the street here, pick up this segment stuff. This right here, NLA food market. What else do you need me to say? It's a food market. It looks kind of ghetto and abandoned. It looks abandoned with all like the dirty brick. I don't know. It just looks abandoned to me. I mean, look, you can get NLA food here. So if you ever wanted some NLA food, hit them up. Also, I know this is unrelated, but a lot of like the truck companies in the game have like very cool like names and designs. Like here with Axiom Inc. Like Axiom Inc. has a couple real world counterparts. It's a very basic name, even though it's a cool word. I mean, it's not, you know, that unique. So of course, a lot of people are just going to take the name Axiom Inc. And in real life, there's an Axiom Inc., which is an operation improvement company. But the one that this one is probably based on in X is probably Axiom Inc., Wisconsin material handling company. And it makes sense since they'll be handling materials. They'll ship them out in these trucks between stores, or maybe they distribute to all of these other stores who need it. It's really cool. I like the world building put into Xenoblade X. They did not have to put all of these shops here, but they did. And then some of them are based on real life people and actual places, which I think is so cool. They didn't just slap a bunch of random shit here. They actually dedicated some to like real life and tried to make some real life connections, which is kind of cool. Except for this one, Sarah's Market. That's literally just Sarah's Market, named after Sarah. Then we have BW Salon. It's just a salon. And then that's it, I think. I think that's it. That's everything. So that's all of the. Oh, also, this is. I also wanted to show this off right here. This looks dope. HPG. This looks cool. Okay, this image right here. Not gonna lie, this kind of looks like a Persona logo, right? Like this looks like it could be an alternate logo for Persona 3, and then that's some random character. I'm not really sure, but this is probably my favorite one in like the entire commercial district. This right here, I like this a lot, with the girl with the headphones with the hair waving behind, and she's got the blue and then the particles. This one is really cool, all on the black background. It's so dope. I'm nerding out over this so hard for no reason, but just look at it. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. And there's actually like a real life HPG, which is just a premier promotional product hard good supplier. So another just basic hardware store, not even hardware store, but just like another basic product supplier. So Axiom probably just delivers between their own stores or very certain ones, but then HPG here delivers to all of these other stores as they are a supplier, so they would supply a bunch of these stores with the products and everything that they need. But yeah, that's really it. There's not really much else to I covered everything, all the stores here in NLA, all the streets, and even the trucks. But yeah, that's it for this video. I have no idea how long this is gonna be, but I had a ton of fun making it. I actually, this was a pretty fun video to make. I literally just said that. But yeah, I haven't seen anyone talk about these stores. All I ever found was like one game facts thread about these stores, and that's it. So I decided, fuck it, why not just cover them? Because these are all pretty unique stores. All right, this is a lot of attention put into them, all different names with the logos, so it gives the world of NLA more realism, not only in terms of like us in real life, because all of these unique names and like stores and not just a bunch of generic stuff you'd see in like other JRPGs, but also in the world of Xenoblade X, because you know they lost Earth and they're living here in NLA now. And to try to make it feel more like Earth and more like home, they make all these stores. Maybe these were stores back on Earth, or maybe this is all just stuff new to NLA. I don't even know. There's just a lot of implications and stuff here. But I really do think it's cool that they put time into the world building like this. I know that's a very Monolith thing to do. They're great with world building, but stuff like this that is just more realistic because we can relate to it better. I like it a lot. Okay, it's really cool. I hope if we get an X2 or another game based on X, they bring stuff like this back. Not NLA itself, if it's like based on Xenoblade X, but more like real world equivalents, I guess. Or just like in-game equivalents of real-world stores, because this is really cool. I like this a lot. But yeah, this is gonna be a bitch to edit, but I'm excited. I still don't know what the hell Isequa is. I don't know what that is. But yeah, that's really about it. So see you next mission and play some goddamn Xenoblade.